Hello and welcome to 8 Weeks to Strong and Calm, week number 6, workout 12. Today's workout will focus on the lower body, and we'll do a different kind of workout today called the reverse ladder. So we'll choose 4 exercises, and then with each one of those, we will complete the entire set before moving on to the next exercise. So with each one of those, we'll do 10 repetitions, then a short little break, then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, before moving on to the second exercise. So this workout can actually be done relatively quickly. You can choose your poison, how much weight you want to use based on where you're at today. I've got a heavier weight and then 2 smaller weights that I'll use for my first exercise, the walking lunges. We'll always start with a warm-up. Please make sure that you do as long of a warm-up as your body needs before moving into the exercise, the main workout portion. I will utilize a foam roller for the first part of the warm-up and for the cool down. The 4 exercises that we will see in our main workout will be the walking lunges, the goblet squat, the single leg hip lift or hip list, as some people like to call it, like a boat is listing when it's tipping to one side. And then the last one will be our sumo deadlift or our wide leg hinge movement pattern. So those will be our 4 exercises. For the single leg hip list, you will want to utilize either a step. The bottom of a stair works really nicely, or you can grab a yoga block or 2 or a small step. All of those will work. And if you don't have any of those available to you, any surface that's a little higher than the surface below it will work great. I like to do this outdoors on an uneven surface like a rock is also super great. So let's begin our warm-up. Since I know today's workout is going to focus on the lower body, I'm going to warm up, mostly my lower body. Today I'm starting by foam rolling my calves. And remember, you don't have to lift your hips up off the ground. If you don't have a foam roller, you can always do this with any kind of ball. Tennis ball works great. I've also rolled up a blanket into a thick roll, and then I can do this as kind of a self-massage with that. So that works great. I'm going to roll through my joints here, spreading my toes, flexing my toes, ankle circles, and then switch sides. So I want my feet to be real warmed up here. You can see that I usually do my workouts barefoot. There's a lot of feedback that we can get without wearing shoes from the bottom of our feet about proprioception, where our body is in space. But for some people, it is more beneficial or feels better for them to wear shoes. Feel free. I'm rolling my hip here, trying to go through, rolling my bum, rolling through the most superficial muscles, the glute max. Then if I cross that leg, now I can open up into some of my other external rotators. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Here. I use this to help me diagnose anything that's going on for me here. So if I see any really big knots, if one side feels just totally different from the other, sometimes I don't notice until I'm on the foam roller. And I'm like, how have I been walking around with that huge knot and not even notice? But we're human. It takes a lot of dharana, concentration, to really be aware of what's going on with the body all the time. So we can utilize this practice just as we would a yoga practice to really focus inward to see where we're at. I did my upper back there. And now I'm going to foam roll my quads, the tops of my thighs, rolling back and forth. Remember, if you have a blanket here, rocking side to side and slowly working your way up is great. And then the feedback I'm getting here is that my quads are pretty tight. So I'm going to do just a little bit of some mobility lunges before I do my strength lunges. So stepping one foot forward, shifting my hips forward. And if I want to take this a little deeper, what we call the psoas stretch. Psoas is a deep hip flexor. So I take my back leg, that same side arm is going to reach up and gently over. And you just kind of feel for you. Where's the depth that I need to go to feel a stretch without feeling too much of a stretch? About 3 breaths. Good. And then switch sides. Nice. And for some people, it feels really good to kind of come in and out of these stretches. So if that's you, especially at the beginning of our practice, that can be a really nice thing to do. All right. Good. Then coming up to stand. Warm up my knees, bringing my feet together, just draw little circles. Nice. All right. Then I'm going to draw some circles with my hips. Good balance exercise too. Draw a circle forward, back, forward, and back. Nice. And then I'm going to do some leg swings today. Really, really like these. It's a nice way to really open up your diaphragm. So just by this kind of passive stretch, a lot of singers will do this before they practice, which I think is pretty cool, to help stretch their diaphragm, making it more available to them to hold their notes. So I do about 15 or 20. I didn't count. But when my leg tells me, okay, I'm done, then we'll switch sides. Here. And it can be real tempting to look down. And you kind of have to lean over a little bit, otherwise you might kick the ground. You can also do this standing on a block or like at the edge of a stair or something, if that feels better. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm feeling ready. So the first one we're going to do is our walking lunges. If you're like me and are trying to work within a smaller frame, you want to try and keep the movement forward. So doing like sets of 2 and then turning around is a great option for that. So feel free to utilize some extra weight if you'd like. You can always try the first round with body weight as your warm-up round, and then add weight after that. So we're moving through our ladder, staying with the walking lunges until we go through our 10 sets. And our first repetition range is 10. So walking lunge, just like our forward lunge. We're going to step forward, keep the body pretty upright, lower down, moving mostly that back leg, keeping the front knee more or less over the ankle there. And then using both legs to step up and then forward. Lowering down, chest is up. My center of gravity is really trying to be equal between both legs. So I can push off, step forward. So that's 2, that's 1, 1 on each side. 1, 2, So if you have a lot of space, feel free to just go. 3, 4. Feel ready to add some weight. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Whew, 10. That's our first one. So feel free to take a break. You can stretch and grab a glass of water. Take a few deep breaths. Good. Assess how challenging that was for you. If it was really challenging, know that we're only going to go down from here. If it was really easy, I'm going to encourage you to try try to make this more challenging for yourself. Remember, one of the ways we can always make things more challenging for ourselves is if you're really familiar with these patterns, doing your walking lunges in an overhead pattern is really challenging. So if you're looking to increase your challenge, feel free to do so. All right, ready for our second one? Moving into 9. So 9 on each side. Walking lunges. 1. 2. Back knee doesn't have to go all the way down to the ground. 3. Where you're looking, where your concentration is real important here. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Woo! Yeah. Remember, when you lower weights, to use your hips. Give yourself a breath, a moment. And then when you're ready, moving on to 8. 1. 2. 3. 4. Try and feel this in your front bum as much as you can. So right here on that side, driving through the front heel as much as you can. 6. 7. 8. Because I think I missed one. Yay! So 8 for you. 8 for me. Shake it out. Take a moment. Moving on to 7. Da, da, da. 1. 2. 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Woo! Our second round is 6. Our next round. Our next round is 6. 1, 2, 3. Belly button gently pulling towards the spine. 4, 5, 6. Woo! You're going by faster. Our next one is 5. Take a moment. Good. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great job. The end is near. Our next round is 4. When you're ready, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Take a moment. Good job. All right. 3. 1, 2, 3. We're near the end. We have 2 and we have 1. When you're ready, 2, 1, 2. Last one. 1. As you're ready. 1, 1. Nice. Woohoo. Our first ladder done. The other 3 exercises will probably go by a little faster than that one here, just given the length of time that each one of those takes to do. Nice work. So our next one is our goblet squat. Now, goblet squat, we have the feet hip width apart. I'm anchoring my big toe mound, my heels, and the pinky toe mound. I like to lift my toes at the start, spread them, and then have them gently grip the mat. So I'm feeling really stable through my legs. Now, when I work my way up the legs, so from the feet. I feel that my shins are gently pushing out, and my thighs are gently pushing out. Not so much that my knees end up going out to the sides. My knees are going to track more or less where my middle or second toe is. If it feels more comfortable to have your feet out here, then you might be pushing your knees out to relate with the toes. Some people, however, have anatomy that will force their knee to go in a different direction of the foot. So as you're doing these, just really ask yourself, am I feeling any pain? If you are feeling pain, try to adjust it. If you have questions, you can always try and film yourself doing a few rounds of these and then email them to me, and I'd be happy to watch it and give you some notes as we move forward, because goblet squats are really such a foundational pose, a foundational movement pattern, I should say. So then with my thighs pressing out, and some people like to even just place a band around their thighs so that they have that reminder there. So I'm pushing out, but still anchoring through my feet. Now, in order to keep my center of gravity right over my ankles, my body needs to take kind of this lightning bolt shape. The knees move slightly forward so that they're in front of the ankle, but not so much that they're forward over the toe. So as you kind of move your knees back and forth, notice where the position of your knees need to be in order for you to feel really grounded through the front of the foot and the back of the foot for you. Now with the upper body, in my squat, my movement pattern is going up and down. So my vector force, I'm lowering down and I'm pushing straight up. So I'm dropping my hips. I'm trying to keep my chest upright. And then as far as I can go, then using both legs, squeezing my bum at the top, coming all the way to a neutral hips. Okay? So if I didn't lean forward just a tiny bit, then my whole center of gravity would kind of pull me back. But if I lean too far forward, now I'm not really using my hips, but I'm using my back and my core, which is a movement pattern that we would like to utilize in our hinge or our deadlift, which we'll see towards the end. But for this exercise, lowering down, driving through the heels, coming up. So goblet squat was named for the weight that you hold in the front of the body. However, this can be done quite easily without weight if we place the hands in front and we allow the elbows to be at just about shoulder width or maybe a little narrower. Then as we drop down, keeping the chest up, we might be able to place the elbows to the insides of the knees in a stable position at the bottom. Some people might not have quite that range of motion, so you might be hovering just above the knees. And anyway, lowering down, I want to feel my glute, my hips load, press through the heels, squeeze as I come up to the top. Lower down and up. Okay, so that's our goblet squat. If you would like to use weight, we can grab a weight. If we're holding a dumbbell, we hold the top. We hold it vertical and hold one end of the weight. Then as I lower down, I make a strong connection at the bottom of my shape, feeling my hips load, my core engaged, my back engaged, my shoulders are drawing back. I'm not rounding forward. The chest is up and I'm pressing through the heels as I come up, squeezing the bum. So body weight or with an external weight. I'll do my first set in our ladder with just body weight. So starting with 10. Assume your position. Inhale to lower and exhale, drive. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. First round. If you're feeling that a lot in your knees, Try looking where your knees are, especially as you're pressing up. So when the knees start to go forward, we're using more of the quads, and we can tend to put a little bit of strain on that patella tendon, so you can get some sensations in the knees that don't feel great. So if that's you, try pushing your butt back even further, seeing how vertical you can keep your shins while trying to sit the butt down without folding the chest forward. And then the other thing we can do is just not go down quite as low. So those are two things if your knees are bothering you. And also, if your knees are bothering you, take time to do some stretches or to do some extra foam rolling as you need. Our next round is 9. Know the intention with the breath. I'm going to inhale as I come down. Exhale, big exertion. Core is helping as I come back up. 9, 8, broad chest, big smile. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Nice job. Take as long of a break as you need. Press pause when you'd like. Next set, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Take a break if you need. Next round, 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Notice how close the weight is to my body. 2, and 1. Woohoo! As you're ready, our next round, 6. If I were to stop my squats at any point in time, I should be able to draw a line straight through my plumb line of my ankles, through kind of the center of my body, and up through the crown of my head. So as I keep that plumb line right through the ankles, I have to keep finding these little micro shifts through the body, knees softly forward, but then hips go back, chest is forward lightly, but the shoulders are drawing back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! 6. As you're ready, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! That's 5. Take a break as needed. And next, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a break if you need. At least a full round of breath. Next one, 3. 3, 2, 1. At least a round of breath. 2, 1, 2. Last one. Make this one count. Imagine what it's going to look like in your head. Set yourself up for success. Inhale down. Exhale up. 1. Great job. That was the end of our reverse ladder for the goblet squat. Moving on to our third exercise, the single leg hip list. Go ahead and grab an elevated surface, or you can watch me and then go find your elevated surface. And I'll see you in just a moment. The third exercise in our ladders today is the single leg hip lift, or hip list as it's sometimes called. In this, we take a step. It can be anything that we step one leg on. That's going to be the working leg. Our other leg is dangling off. Now, if your step isn't too tall, you may need to keep that relaxed foot in a little bit of a flexed position, that foot in a little bit of a flexed position in order to get the depth that you need out of it. You can also just stack this foot a little taller if you'd like, and then that foot can stay pretty relaxed. So here, I want to, just like I would in my step up, swinging my hip over, pressing through and coming to stand. So once I'm in stand, I try and have my whole foot planted. You might be in a position where your toes are kind of off. As much as we can get at least the big toe mound and the heel onto the surface, the better. So there, it's okay if the toes hang off, but if you can get something that covers the whole foot, great. Here, now I can place my hands on my hips and see when they're level. And then I want to drop. So if my left leg is on my step, then I'm going to drop my right hip down. And then using the strength of my left leg, really lifting this hip past neutral. So right hip drops, right hip lifts, lists. So here, here. Whew. So that is a lot of work. And we'll start with 10 on each side. And then work our way down. Nice. Feel free to take as many breaks as you need to between sides, between sets, between reps. Assume your position. Find your balance. If you need to, you can position yourself next to a wall or having some kind of like railing, foam roller, whatever you need. If you can challenge your balance, then I encourage you to do so. Here, dropping the left hip down, my right leg is on, and I'll start 10, 9, 8, drop and drive, 7, 6, 5, try and keep the neck and shoulders relaxed, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, that is some good work. All right, getting our deep stabilizing muscles. This is a very functional exercise. You will notice the benefits on your next hike. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. So feel free to take a rest, to take a break. And then when you're ready, going back to your first side and repeating 9. This may be the most subtly challenging exercise that we do today. When you're ready, go in for 9. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, hands can help you find balance. 3, where is your concentration? 2, and 1. Nice. Switching sides. Shake it out if you need, add some stretches if you want. 9. 9, 8, 7. You can see both legs are real straight. 6, all that movement's coming from the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woohoo! 9. I'm so glad these are going down. We can think about this exercise as basically kind of the rhomboid push-ups or the shoulder blade push-ups that we do for the upper body. So if I were to think about those, keeping the arms really straight and dropping the chest, then pushing up using the muscles of my upper back, using the muscles on the sides of my ribs and really my deep rotator cuff muscles to really help define that movement pattern. So these are rhomboid push-ups, are basically what we're doing right now on the lower body. Our next set is 8. They get harder. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. 8. As you're ready, gaze is forward, neck and shoulders are soft. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woohoo! Nice job. Feel free to take breaks as needed. Sometimes you just kind of need to walk it out. Frequently when I do this one, I will take a walk, like just around my house, the block if you need to, just to really help myself kind of orient after all that work. Okay, next one, we have 7. Okay, so I'm starting with my right side. Right leg steps up, hips are level, left hip drops. Good, and left hip rises. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woohoo! Shake it out. 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Woohoo! All right, our next one is 6. So ladders are they're an incredible way to help you to build endurance in a way that if we just tried to do, like 25 sets of something, that it would be very challenging. So this allows us to slowly build that strength and that endurance over time, progressively. All right, 6. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Awesome. 6. Nice. This is about my favorite. Everything really starts to go downhill from here. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Yes. Yes. On to 5. Again, feel free, pause, take a break if you need to. When you're ready. 5. All right. Really stable foot on your step. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Woohoo! Da, da, da. Switching sides. 5. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Awesome. All right. 4. When you're ready. 1. 2. 3. 4. It's always funny to me to notice what my hands are doing. If we don't bring our awareness to the body as a whole, focusing in on just one area, sometimes we can forget what the other parts of the body are doing. So every once in a while, do a little scan, making sure. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Woohoo! All right. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. 3. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Switch sides. 3. 3. Find your balance. 2. And 1. Nice job. Woohoo! 2. Home run. Home stretch. 2. Find your balance. 2. Good form. 1. Done. 2. Balance. Find your thing to look at. 1. 2. Last one. 1. And 2. Yes. Yay! We have finished the 3rd out of 4 exercise in our ladders today. So feel free, take a rest if you'd like, and then when you're ready, we'll come back to our wide-legged deadlift or hinge. See you soon. Our 4th and final exercise in our ladder workout today is the wide-legged deadlift or hinge. So unlike the squat where we're moving up and down, we want to instead, so squat up and down, moving in this plane. In our hinge, we want to move back and forth, more in our horizontal plane. So just like we've practiced our hinges in the past, we hinge at the hip, really strong back, really strong core. So my belly button is gently drawing towards my spine just to feel like I'm supporting myself as I hinge at the hips. So here, the lower we hinge, obviously the more challenging it's going to be. So you can always practice this in a smaller range of motion. And then when you're ready, you can take it a little bit deeper as we move along. In our wide-legged version today, we want to step the feet wide, and then it's personal preference on where you'd like the toes. You can keep the toes pointed straight ahead, or you can angle the toes out lightly. So as long as you're gently pushing out against your thighs, the legs are turned on, whichever one feels better in your knees, that's the variation that you'll choose. Just like with our squat and with any other deadlift that we've done, it's a full connection of the feet to the ground. So big toe mound is pressing down, the pinky toe mound is pressing down, and the heel is pressing down. Sometimes you can think about the inside and outside of the heel, or for some people it's helpful to just think about it as kind of 3 points. And then we don't want the toes to raise. We really want to use the toes to help add a little bit more grip to the ground here. So they're not gripping super tight, but they're making contact with the ground. All right, and then our hinge position. So my center of gravity is going to be just the same as it was in my goblet squat. It's going to remain right outside of the ankles as I lower and as I rise. So I want to feel like as I start to hinge, that my hips are going back, my chest is coming forward so that my center of gravity really remains as much as I can get it right through the center of my foot. And that's going to really help me to press down through the big toe mound, press down through the heel. If I push my legs super far back and I feel like my center of gravity is way back into my heels, then I might have you bend your knees a little bit. Turning on the muscles of the shins, so you might even feel those. Turning on the muscles of the thighs, you might even feel those or push out into your hands there. So that energy that we had in our squat kind of remains the same. Now I'm here, drawing my shoulders back, chest is reaching forward, hips are going back. If I reach my hands forward, my center of gravity is really going to shift. It requires quite a bit more effort to use my core to come back up. So I want to try and move any weight that I'm going to use, even if it's just my body weight, right in that center of gravity line that I'm looking for. So right kind of through the midfoot or towards the ankle. So here, I can assume my position. And then coming all the way through, even though I'm coming up to stand, I really want to think about that end point coming because my hips are moving forward. So the energy of this shape is forward and back instead of up and down like in our squat. So wide-legged sumo hinge or deadlift. And you can do this with body weight, just like I demonstrated. Or if you'd like to use an external weight, you can hold the weight with both hands. And then drawing the shoulders back, I want to move with the weight staying kind of right through the midfoot. So the whole time my shoulders are drawing back, my chest is reaching forward. And then I go down until I feel like I can maintain strength at the shape, the bottom of my shape, loading my hips, loading my glutes, squeezing my bum at the top, my hips coming forward, and then I'm ending in a neutral position. So starting our ladder, 10 is our first round. Full inhale to exhale, inhale to lower, and then exhale to finish. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. That is our first set of our ladder. Next we'll be doing 9. Feel free to take a break, and I'll see you in a second. Nine. All right. My feet are wide. You can always change the width of the legs to help you feel this where you need to. Okay, so I'm going to step just off of my mat. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Hips move forward, come to the top. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Woohoo. Our next round, 8. Eight, 7, 6, 5. If this is pretty easy for you, try holding the top, the middle, the bottom. Keep everything engaged. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Moving on to 7. Feet are wide. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Whew. All right. I'll demonstrate also how to do this with a block for the next few. If you have not done a lot of hinge type movements, your back might start to get fatigued before your hips, and that's pretty normal. There's a lot of energy going on in the upper body and in the core doing these movement patterns. So adjust as you need, push yourself where you can, and I'll see you for 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Next round, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Next round, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Next round, 3. 3, 2, 1. Home stretch. 2, 1, 2. Last one, as you're ready, 1. Yeah! That concludes our ladder workout. And if you would like to join me for one final core and kind of mobility exercise, we'll do 10 rounds of dead bug and then move right into our cool down stretches. Feel free to do any cool down that you would like. I'm going to encourage you at the end to lie in Shavasana for at least a minute or so and give yourself a time to rest before moving on to your next thing. Okay, dead bug coming onto your back. My knees are over my hips. My hands are over my shoulders. I should have made sure that I had enough room behind me. You want to give yourself enough space so your arms can fully extend over your head. They don't have to go that far. Go where you feel comfortable. Even just a few inches past the midline will be good work. So bracing the spine. So I'm not totally flattening my back to the ground, but my belly button is gently drawing towards my spine. I'm feeling very stable in the core. Then here, my shins are about parallel to the ground. And then my palms are going to face towards each other for this version. My head is resting on the ground. Good. On an inhale, I'll extend an opposite arm and leg out from the body. And as I exhale, drawing in. The lower that I get towards the ground, the harder it will be. So let's go ahead and do 10 total. Inhale. Exhale. 10. 9. Try and find a little bit of ease where you can. 8. 7. 6. Slower you go, the harder it is. 5. 4. 3. 2. And done. Ooh. Hug the knees into the chest. As you take some full deep breaths, just take a moment. Acknowledge what you just did. Ask yourself what you think you need. And then you can join me or do your own thing. I'm going to start by hugging my right leg into the chest and then coming into a twist. I might start part way, feeling more of a stretch through the outside of the leg, through the hip, and then slowly come more and more into a twist that gets into my low back, my mid back, and maybe even my upper back, chest, and shoulder. I like to spend a few breaths here, progressively going a little deeper as my body starts to calm down. Observe your heart rate. If you try to do these as fast as you can, really take this time to feel your heart rate slow down. Imagine the body filling with breath. And when you're ready, you can come back to center. And I have both knees in. Feel free to adjust your hips or your legs as you need to, and then switch sides. Coming into a twist as you're ready, as you'd like. And you might even close your eyes here, allowing the body to focus inward. Notice if your mind is trying to think about other things, and you can just observe that and maybe even laugh a little bit as you bring the brain back into the body, back into your intentions in this particular shape. Coming onto the back when you're ready, then I'm going to take another little hip stretch here. We did a lot of work on the hips, so I'm going to take a figure 4. Trying for me to open up just a slightly different area than what I was able to get with my twist. I'm also on my back, so I like to find things I can do while I'm here. Make it easy for yourself. And stretching takes time, so really give yourself time. If you can't do it right after, at least give yourself enough time to let the heart rate come down. Really feel yourself transition from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic state. If you keep yourself in that sympathetic state, it's much harder to make logical decisions. It's easier to be more irritable. So just training the body how to switch between the two when it's appropriate. It's kind of a skill that we need to teach the body. So if you can't do stretching right after your workout, try and get your heart rate down, and then add in stretches throughout your day, which I think is a really nice thing to do anyway. On those moments that you take breaks from work, you can add in a quad stretch, calf stretch, neck stretch, back stretch. Maybe just try and pick one stretch for each break that you do and spend like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, just connecting with the breath, breathing into those parts of the body that you worked during your yoga classes or during your workouts. So that's all I'm going to do with you today, and then just line them back, relax. And if you have the time, you can turn off this video, stay here for as long as you would like. And others, when you're ready, you can reach your hands up and overhead, full body stretch. And draw the knees in towards the chest and roll to one side. And then press yourself up to a seat. Thank you so much for joining me today for our workout number 12 of week 6. These weeks are going by so fast. I hope that you're enjoying your time, and I hope that you're feeling a little stronger and a little calmer already. Take care and see you soon. Bye.